Everyone on BookTok said that these fantasy books are amazing, but I'm gonna be honest, they didn't really live up to my expectations. I'm gonna start off with the newest book from one of my favorite authors, Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Don't get me wrong, this was a good book, but BookTok elevated this book to a point where everyone was saying it's groundbreaking, it's revolutionary, and it was good. It just wasn't that. Did it take some features of Babel and improve on them? Yes, but did it also miss the kind of raw writing that R.F. Kuang has when she was writing Babel that really shows through in that expressionism, but doesn't really show through in this? Yeah, I kind of think it did. There were some things missing, and not necessarily plot-wise, but in my opinion, it felt like a lot of the story was missing that rough edge to it, especially because of what the story was meant to be about. It's not necessarily about the plot, it's about the characters, and they felt a little bit polished to me. Then for me, we had The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. It just didn't hit properly. Maybe it was because I was reading a trader paperback and it took me about 5 minutes to finish each page. Like, I like these books, but something about this just dragged. What I do actually think it was, though, was the fact that we weren't told exactly what was going to happen at the end. We weren't told what the goal of the story was, the goal of the journey. We got told it's to get to this place, great, but we didn't really get told why. We just got told, okay, these people are going to this place, and it felt like we were just getting unnecessary obstacles without an end goal. One thing I will say about this book is that I gave it a 4-star rating because the last 30% was genuinely a 6-star read. And in my opinion, I can see how BookTok, a community that is very, very heavily influenced by the ending of books, gave this book such a high rating, but for me, it just didn't land as much as BookTok said it would. Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb is one of those books that I found quite hard to read because I really enjoyed the first one. I did take a break in the middle of this because I was struggling, and then I came back, started reading it again, and I found it enjoyable. But the fact that I took a break really made me realize it wasn't really what I was expecting it to live up to from what BookTok and BookTube and Bookstagram had told me. This was still a good book, I agree. However, I feel like it was slow at points, and I feel like whilst that was the writing style, I missed the novelty of the first book, and that novelty not being there wasn't replaced like it has been in other series' second books. I don't know if that makes sense, but when you lose the novelty of first going into a world in the first book, you need to replace it with something. Maybe it's expansiveness, maybe it's development, but I feel a lot of the time that wasn't really there in Royal Assassin. However, this isn't going to put me off from reading Assassin's Quest. I just need to get around to it. It's like an 800-page massive chunky book. Like, it's going to take time. And then finally, Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. I thought this was a good book, don't get me wrong, but when people say this is the new revolutionary face of cozy fantasy, I feel like maybe I'm missing something. This was good, this was enjoyable, but it didn't really feel super cozy. It didn't feel those low stakes of what we're used to within cozy fantasy, but it also didn't really feel like end of the world fantasy. It felt like a hybrid in between, and that wasn't really what I was looking for when I picked up a cozy fantasy book. I did like your main characters, I did like the ideas behind them. I just would have preferred more of actually focusing around the coffee shop and the day-to-day life rather than the actual plot of, you know, the enemy. Like I said, it was a good book, it just didn't live up to BookTok's expectations. So those are the books that BookTok told me were going to be amazing, and they didn't really land for me. They were good books. I'm not going to say they weren't good books because I enjoyed all of them. They just weren't the 6-star reads that BookTok presented them to be.